And then, hello and welcome to the regular Town Council meeting of the Cromwell Town Council, scheduled to start at 7 p.m. We are a little late this evening, but we'll call it to order at 7:36. Let us begin with the Pledge of Allegiance, and I will lead the Pledge of Allegiance today. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And now on to item C, approval of the agenda. Are there any changes to the agenda? Okay. Hearing none, we'll start with Commission Chairman reports, staff reports. But first, Cassidy, would you like to just introduce yourself?
My name is Cassidy Nimmons, and I am your recording clerk for tonight. I'm the office assistant in the town manager's office.
Thank you and welcome. And she's been a wonderful help on charter revision, punching above her weight, doing a fantastic job. So I want to just echo thanks that commission members gave you, I think, at the last meeting. I want to say thank you for all your work. And now we move to commission chairman reports, staff reports from any staff that are present that would like to give their staff reports, or commission chairman reports that are otherwise on the agenda. For the folks who are on there,
can I make a recommendation that you move citizen comments? There's a number of people apparently wishing to discuss the charter revision, and once it's accepted, am I correct? Mm-hmm. It can no longer be discussed until, am I correct? Mm-hmm. So I would recommend you move it at this time and allow those citizens that wish to discuss it.
Sure. Should I have the commission give their, I have to wait until, they have to do it before the commission presents the charter, is that what you're saying? Because then it's locked into a public hearing?
Well, once you accept it from the town clerk, it's already been presented to the town clerk. The town clerk presents it to the council. Once the council has accepted it, then discussions shut off until after the public hearing.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so
I would do citizen comments prior.
So can I have a motion to move citizens' comments from item K to item D? And then okay, made by Paul, seconded by Brian. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, abstention? Okay, motion carries. So now we are doing citizens' comments. So citizens are invited to speak for 2 minutes per speaker. Please state your name and address for the record, and be respectful. If you need additional time, just kind of wave at us and let us know you need additional time. But
good evening, everyone.
That mic's not on.
Does this go into my 2 minutes?
No, you've got plenty. Yeah.
Good evening, everyone. I am Joanne Doyle, the Cromwell Town Clerk, and I wanted to just speak for a few minutes on behalf of the benefits of the town clerk and the tax collector having a 4-year term versus a 2-year term. I can speak for the town clerk, but I did speak with Brian Sturmer, the current tax collector, and he did also indicate that it would take at least 3 years to reach certification in his job position. And the same was with myself. I was elected in 2019, and I received my certification in 2022. The main point and benefit of the town clerk to have a 4-year term instead of a 2-year term is that it takes at least 3 years to become certified. And having a 4-year term allows the town clerk to implement and work on long-term projects and goals without having to think about re-election time so quickly. A longer term can lead to greater stability in the office and more efficient and effective management of public records, vital statistics, and elections. So the Office of Legislative Research compiled a report in 2015 of the 169 town clerks in the state of Connecticut. And it indicated whether they were elected, appointed, and if they were elected, what the the length of their term was. So I did a little report of my own, comparing it to the 2025 list that the Secretary of State publishes of all the town clerks. So of 169 clerks as of 2025, 91 are elected and 78 are appointed. Of the 91 elected, 33 have a 2-year term, 57 have a 4-year term, and one, the town of Southington, has a 6-year term. So since 2015, that initial report, 30 have changed from elected to appointed. And I also reached out to some of the clerks where it wasn't quite clear what their term was, if it was 2 years or 4 years. So they sent me some responses, if I could just read them quickly. It says, I was previously elected for a 2-year term. I am now appointed to a 4-year term. Since it takes more than 2 years to become certified as a town clerk, it is my belief that no town clerk's term should be less than 4 years. Just my 2 cents. Hi, Joanne. My term is only 2 years. Silly, but it is. No one will open the charter to change that. Take care. Good morning. I'm a 2-year elected term still. Wish they would change it. Hi, Joanne. I have a 4-year term. Though there has been some talk after the last election that they will make the town clerk position appointed. Have a great day. Hi, Joanne. The town clerk and tax collector, I blacked out the town and their names, always had a 2-year term until a charter revision in 2015 was changed to a 4-year. Effective January 1, 2025, however, because there were charter revision questions on the November 24 ballot that passed, these positions will become higher professional positions at the end of our terms. The office of town clerk has been an elected 2-year term forever. However, at the end of the current 2-year term, 1/2/26, the town clerk position will be appointed to a 4-year appointment by unanimous decision of the Board of Selectmen. Yes, I am still a 2-year term. We may have a charter change in the next year or two where they may look at changing it to a 4-year term. We changed our charter in 2015 and the town clerk is now 4 years, still elected. Thankful I don't have to run every 2 years anymore. And that was the responses of those that I had to get clarification on their term. So I also included what's required for certification to become a town clerk. It's quite a lot of classes and information, and there's elections and land records and vital records and just so much information. And I'm obviously in favor of the 4-year term, mainly because how long it takes, but also the involvement into different projects. And if this term change was able to become effective upon passage in this election, that would be fantastic. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Are there any other citizens' comments?
Do you want me to present now or when it's the agenda item?
You can I'll give you 3 options. Even better.
Okay.
You can talk now during citizens' comments. You can talk during commission chairman report. You can talk during the actual agenda item. Depends on how long you want to be with us tonight.
Let me get it done now and
Okay.
I'll still. Okay, so I'm Mike Canada, 136 Nooks Hill Road, Cromwell, chairman of the Charter Revision Commission. And we have several charter commissioners here tonight as well. What I'd like to go through very briefly and quickly is I believe you have a memorandum from Harris Beach. And basically these are the punch list items that are the bulk of what our commission is recommending to be changed. Number 1, 2.02, it adds a sentence acknowledging the mayor is an ex officio non-voting member of all boards and commissions. Just history on this, when we had a selectman form of government, this was in the charter for the Board of Selectmen. And the first selectman was in fact given that right. needs to be. Number 2, assigns the role of deputy mayor to the person receiving the highest number of votes for the council in the general municipal election. So the reason we're proposing this is we felt that the deputy mayor's position should be chosen by the voters. It shouldn't be chosen by one group or another group. This basically puts that position in the hands of the voters, and whoever gets the most votes is rewarded with that position. Should they choose not to accept that position, then it ladders down the line. But the bottom line is that this puts it in the hands of the voters, not in the hands of a group making a choice. Number 3, grants council the authority to appoint a new council member or mayor in the event of a vacancy, but only for the term ending with the next municipal election. So this goes back to, if you go into the charter and you go back to section 6.04, that handles how vacancies are filled in all boards and commissions other than the mayor and town council. What we did was we brought this in alignment with 6.04. So every board, every commission is considered exactly the same, and when there is a vacancy, you make your appointment, but only till the next municipal election, at which point the voters choose who fills the seat for the remainder of that term. Again, this is giving power to the voters, not to an appointment authority. Number 4, cleans up titles and duties of various department directors. Very simple. This was more of a clerical type of thing rather than making any substantive change. Number 5, changes directors' terms to indefinite in time with the rest of the directors for the town. Again, this is more of a bookkeeping situation than it is a substantive change to the charter. Number 6, and this is a big one, we're recommending the creation of a director of human resources. This is going to have financial impact on the town. It is going to be an employable position at a substantial salary. This council makes those choices. You're going to be the ones that set up the job description. You're going to be the ones that set up the rate of pay. But at the end of the day, we have a $65 million a year business called the town of Cromwell, and we don't have a director of human resources. There is no $65 million business in the world that doesn't have a director of human resources. Number 7, it makes the town clerk, and number 8, it makes the tax collector a 4-year term. Joanne spoke at length about this just now, and we wholeheartedly agree that it should be a 4-year term. It should be, ideally, if the town attorney is able to craft this correctly, I would personally love to see it start immediately with the conclusion of this election. There may be problems with that. She may not be able to do that, so this election may be for a 2-year term, and the 4-year term would kick in 2 years. But at the end of the day, I defer to the town attorney. If she can make it happen, I would love to see it happen. I would love that Joanne and whoever our next tax collector is be afforded that luxury of having a 4-year term in front of them. Number 9, again, substantive changes, non-substantive changes that clean up and basically make language changes in the charter. There's really nothing to talk about there. And number 10, it basically just changes the effective date of the charter to 2026. That's the nuts and bolts of it. That's the meat of it. If you have any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer any questions. I'm going to stay for the duration of the meeting and chew on it a little bit, think about it, and if you have questions, call me back up. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
And I would like to just let other public comments really ask the questions. Since Mike's volunteering to stay, we'll ask Mike questions when we get down, subject to Cassidy's note, which, let me just read this. Please remind the council that they cannot discuss any changes or recommendations to the charter. They must wait until after the public hearing on August 25th at 5:30. After the said public hearing, there will be a special meeting to discuss the recommendations. So we're allowed, if we had a hypothetical question for Mike, can we ask the questions tonight? We just can't discuss what we would prefer tonight, right? Or should we refrain from asking any questions?
I would refrain.
Okay. So what we'll do then is, Mike, then that means you're like a genie released from your bottle.
That's okay.
But
okay.
We will need you back to make wishes later on the 25th. But so if counselors have questions for Mike or any of the other commission members about the charter revision, we'll do that at the public hearing on the 25th. Just make sure you write them down.
I would like to commend the commission for their timely and thorough work on this.
Thank you.
Much appreciated.
I would also like to commend my fellow commission members. Their attendance was wonderful. Their input was great. We had some lively discussions, the way it should be. And at the end of the day, absolute top-notch commendation goes to Cassidy. She did an absolutely amazing job. She's an asset to our town and should be treated as such. Thank you.
I want to echo all of those comments, not only about Cassidy, who I've praised now twice, make a note, but also about Mike's leadership on the commission and everybody on the commission for lively, robust discussions on all the issues, concepts, discussing development of new concepts, figuring out where the concept should go. A job really well done in a very tight time frame. Thank you.
I'd like to concur with the town mayor said. You people devoted to the town as volunteers, and I think you did an exceptional job.
There's no check.
Not that we are aware of.
Are there any other citizens' comments? Matt. He can get our things every
Matt Brown, 7 Court Place. I was one of the commissioners on the charter committee, so I know we're not going to be discussing questions, but I just wanted, as you're looking through the revisions we made, I just want to make sure, realize I think you've already said it, but we really would try to be very thoughtful in our approach. We looked at prior charters, we looked at how other towns were doing, we talked to leadership within the town, got a lot of different feedback along the way, and also from the public as well. But what we really wanted to do, and what Mike led and the team did, was like really measured approach as well. We weren't trying to make any extreme changes, but we really wanted to make sure we can help the town run as like smoothly, effectively as we can, and just make sure that we are staying up to date and current and moving forward. I think that was really the main kind of focus of what we were doing. I agree with what was said earlier. It was a great group. We had a lot of different perspectives. I think one of the great things about the committee, we just had a lot of different people from different experiences, different like ages, different like even like political parties were kind of split even, like Republicans, Democrats, unaffiliated, like, and it was such a great group. As we said, we were lively discussions. We all got to a point we agreed, and then we moved on to the next thing. So I just want to say it was very much a team effort, and Mike did a great job leading it, and so I just wanted to make sure to realize we tried not to do anything too extreme, but we really wanted to make sure we're moving forward. So thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, and to that point, yep. It was 3-3-3. Yeah, come on up. It was 3-3-3. 3 unaffiliated, 3 Democrats, 3 Republicans, and I think that is a beautiful mix because it brings all the different perspectives. Because people need to remember over a third of town registered voters are unaffiliated. So I think it's important that we sometimes break out of the political party mold and get more voices into town.
Well, it wasn't happening.
Marie Roberto, 101 West Street, Vice Chair of the Charter Revision Commission. And I would like to thank you all for the privilege and the opportunity to serve on my 3rd Charter Revision Commission for the town of Cromwell. And in that time, we've had some very serious changes in town, and we've gone from a council, from a select type of form of government, changed to a council, and we've had a town manager. So that commission was rather lively, that particular one. And then we also had the opportunity to to look at, in the last commission, was the role of the finance committee. And I tell you this by way of history just because the town has grown tremendously in the time that this third Charter Revision Commission has taken place. And I think that is to the credit of the elected officials in the town and to the dedication of the people here that have made the town the kind of town it is. So when we say we would like to see a human resources person here, we would like to see extended opportunities for people to stay with us for a longer period of time to do the job that they have been trained to do. I personally take it very seriously because I think that's something that as elected officials you have the responsibility to go forward with. But think about the changes that have happened. And I am personally also indebted to Mike. This was probably the shortest of the commissions that I've been on, and we were really focused, very much so, on what we had to do, and Mike's leadership, thank you. We couldn't have done it without him. He's a taskmaster. And I'd like to echo what everyone else has said. We are from very different backgrounds, different age groups. We have different viewpoints. But every single person on that commission listened to everyone else. Some of us had minority opinions, and that was okay. But we were heard. And it was the kind of opportunity that showed that there are people in this town who are committed to the town of Cromwell. And I was particularly gratified to see younger members of the town being willing to serve on a commission that was dedicated to something as important as how the town operates. So with that, I will say, I hope that you can appreciate the work that went into this, and I think you do. And please continue to do the job that you're doing in keeping this town moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you. And congratulations on your third term.
Yeah.
We'll see you in another 4 years, right?
No. I have so many orthopedic issues when I'm on this commission. They occur every time I'm on it.
Hi folks, I'm going to keep it brief. I'm Cass Crew, 586 Main Street. Just to echo what everyone else has said, just having served on the Charter Revision Commission, I saw firsthand how much care went into the process. So when you're reviewing and looking through it, I think you will understand how closely we looked at everything, what's worked, what hasn't worked in the past charters, what we've learned from other communities, what we sought out from other folks in the community. We had a lot of town officials and residents alike come to the meetings. So the recommendations before you really are focused on changes that will make a real and positive difference, I think, for Cromwell, and hopefully you'll agree that they are necessary for a charter that is clearer, more effective, and it better reflects the needs for our town today. So just want to echo what everyone's already said, and thank you for hopefully approving it so we can see it on the ballot.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other citizens' comments? Mr. Neto, no? No, I'm not putting you on the spot.
Get me into it. Julius Neto, 12 Canada Drive. I am also a member of the commission. I really want to echo everyone's statement. But Matthew really put it in real meaningful terms to me, which is we did not always agree, but we were able to not only express our perspectives, listen to understand, ask clarifying questions, and at the end, it was never anything but what's in the best interest of the town, the taxpayers, the citizens. And with that in mind, I think the commission was very successful, even though it was short duration. We all had homework, a lot of homework. And I felt like I was back in school. But anyway, I think that the process that we went through and the makeup of this commission, I think, exemplifies what can be done as we move forward and really get honest discussion and still be respectful and still be able to agree, and it's okay. I mean, we should welcome diversity of perspective and as a way to learn, as a way to move us to the next point, because what we experienced over the last few months exemplifies what can be done. And I take my hat off not only to Mike, to Marie, but to every member of the commission. And Mr. Mayor, obviously you were very active, Tony and other staff members, Sharon, and I cannot forget our Cassidy, only because she was outstanding and she kept us in the right direction as it relates to all the administrative detail. Appreciate you tremendously, so thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I hope you accept.
Thank you.
Okay, are there any other citizens' comments? Okay, hearing none, let us continue moving forward. Are there any commission chairman reports or staff reports? You have in your packet some of the staff reports and liaison reports from various commissions and committees. Building committee has something in there. Amy has in there her department's report with what they're working on, as well as an update on the Cromwell Juvenile Review Board information about how many cases they've had in the year that's passed, 13 cases for the diversion program that they run. Scott has his report in there with the upcoming camp sending and the continued farmers market and summer concert series. I do see that our library director is in the audience. Is there anything you'd like to add to your staff report? Congratulations also on that bill getting passed this session regarding the e-books and how people are getting fleeced over the cost of those e-books, and never the more will that be happening now. Right, you can negotiate individually with it. Is that how that works? Or
no, we're waiting for other states to join.
You have to come up to the microphone, please.
Oh, sorry. So no, that is incorrect.
Okay.
It is a joint bill. We're waiting for other states to have a similar bill, so we'll have better power negotiating with the companies who are producing us.
Knock on wood, you get more of those passed. And then, do you want to just briefly? I think it's in here. Did you talk about the new garden that you have there, the music garden?
Oh, the musical garden.
Yes,
so
I didn't see it in here. Hold on, let me make sure I'm not wrong.
I think that was last month, but sure. So out front of the library on the right-hand side, we had two interactive musical instruments. One was bought for us by a Girl Scout troop, which was wonderful, and the other one was bought by the library. Our hopes is to extend that and make it a full musical garden with native Connecticut plants and sort of a border to keep the kids sort of curtailed around that corner. It's really fun. Everybody who walks out of the library goes and plays with it. It's amazing. And then the other thing that is in your packet that I'll just highlight is our traveling toys collection. We're one of the few towns in Connecticut that will be having a circulating toy collection through Traveling Toys. It was part of a grant from the Community Foundation of Middlesex County, Traveling Toys, and the Friends of the Library. We're going to be launching that on September 17th. And what that is you can just come to the library and as a parent or a grandparent, be able to borrow toys for the library to check out, bring home, and bring back. So great for kids who sort of grow out of things, because toys are really expensive and you can see if they really like them. Great for grandparents who may be having some visitors over and don't want to go out and purchase toys, want to just borrow them and bring them back. And we also have some expensive toys. So there'll be like Nintendo Switches and other things, so that kids don't need to feel left out if it's something that is not affordable to that family.
Wow.
Yeah, pretty
Nintendo
exciting
Switches,
stuff.
That's great.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Is most of the toys, are they going to be donated?
So they were part of a grant. So part of it was through the Community Foundation of Middlesex County,
Right.
and then the rest was through the Friends of the Library. It was donated money, and it was a matching grant through Traveling Toys.
So you feel that you're gonna be needing any donation toys for the project or not?
Not yet.
Okay.
There are tons.
Good.
And we'll be unveiling them on the 17th.
Thank you.
So I think eventually, yes, because things don't get returned, things get broken, and we always really are really accepting of all donations. But right now, these are all toys that are vetted. We know that no one's going to get hurt. We know they're not going to pose a choking hazard, that sort of thing.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Sorry to call you out. I
No,
just wanted
that's
to talk
fine.
about the
That's
garden.
why I'm here.
Any other staff reports for anyone who doesn't have a normal liaison spot down here? I see our assessor is here. Is there anything for your department that you wanted to report on?
I have agenda items.
I know, but is there anything else?
I'll talk about my.
Okay, hearing none, we'll move on to the mayor's update. I attended 2 charter revision meetings over the past month of July. I also attended a community events committee meeting. They are a flurry with activity. That is Lori Ouellette and Steve Waganowski and the team there are doing an outstanding job of really, Karen Ambler, there's a whole group of them. They're doing incredible work. I mean, they are coming up with a brochure with information. They've already done one fundraiser. They have a Facebook page. They have a landing page, I think, now on the website. They're working with Sharon to figure out how donations can be vetted. Myself and Barbara Lessie are working on a bingo night with the Cromwell Lions. Amanda and I have been talking about that. So we're making some pretty good progress on that, and I'm really pleased with the work that's there. Recently, I saw the Historical Society, in conjunction with some private groups, installed a placard for Lafayette's Landing as part of the 250th celebration of the United States. Lafayette, who's a Revolutionary War general, on his farewell tour in 1826, visited the town of Cromwell. His boat docked in what is River Road, and then he was taken by horse and buggy down to Middletown for a celebration and a dinner for him, but he landed here in Cromwell. So there's a plaque now on River Road memorializing that. Richard Donahue wanted me to extend the information that next Thursday, the 22nd, the organization that had coordinated that across the Northeast is going to do a brief ceremony at 11 o'clock at our town plaque before going ahead to Middletown for their plaque unveiling. So if anyone, I'm not available, I'm away visiting a certain mouse who needs my money. I didn't get any laughs on that one, my gosh. Okay, you got to laugh. I got some chuckles over here. No, Mickey. Mickey needs my money, so I'm going to be visiting him. But if anyone's available, 11 o'clock on Thursday on River Road, they're going to have the unveiling, and folks can park at any of the 3 parks and kind of walk towards the middle where the sign is. The sign's right at the end of South Street. So if you park, there's a gravel lot over there that you can park on and get to pretty quickly. So that is happening soon. And otherwise, we're going to have a tri-board meeting in September with the board of, or bi-board, I should call it, with the Board of Finance and the Town Council to discuss bonding and how that will work. I'm going to have some preliminary meetings with folks to discuss that, and then I'm also going to be working with the Board of Ed on coordinating for some facilities projects as well. So lots of good things moving ahead. And I also just want to compliment the folks in this room who care so much about the town and who are, regardless of political party or affiliation or anything else, so dedicated to what's best for the community. And I think I was watching a video of, I'm one of those people who watch public hearings from other towns to see how they do things. And there was a public hearing in the Bronx, or no, it was in Manhattan. And it was about a parking ordinance. And when the person came up to speak, the chairperson or one of the committee members said to her, him, how long have you been in New York for? And he goes, I've been here for 8 years. And she goes, well, then you shouldn't be here. You don't have the right to talk about, you don't know what it is like to be a real New Yorker. And you're worried about parking. We need to get more cars off the street. You're the problem because you're not actually a New Yorker. And that attitude, from an elected official that's dismissive of somebody with a different point of view is just so unfortunate, so wrong, because the deliberative process that we have is a people-driven process, and we can disagree about something and but we're never disagreeable towards each other, and we're respectful and kind to each other. And I think in a world that is more and more designed to get clicks and get people outraged and upset about things, and because that's what drives whatever it is, that's not how we do things here. And I just think it's really wonderful that we are maintaining our character as a town that welcomes and includes and has those wonderful, robust discussions. So I just want to echo all the comments that were made. Our Charter Revision Commission demonstrates what civil democratic government can do and how it can be effective when it rises up from the people. And like Cincinnatus, the Roman general who retired to his cabbage field after being done being general when he could have been king, right? We rise up, we do what we need to do, and then we step back, and we do go back to being citizens. So thank you all for the work that you do, and I think that's what Cincinnatus did at cabbage for me. So it's appreciated, and I, as mayor, really appreciate the opportunity to work with you all. So thank you. Those were my comments for the evening. Yeah. Mr. Town Manager, your report.
Thank you, sir. You want to hand out? Yeah. Oh, you handed it out. Okay. You have my report in your packet, and 100 Berlin Road, we handed out some material tonight. It's not official yet, so I would appreciate no comments were made at this time about it, but 100 Berlin Road, the project's being sold to the developers that I handed out to the council. And if you turn to the second page, they're making some minor changes from what was initially proposed. So they'll be putting in a application with planning and zoning tomorrow. And basically, there'll be 2 residential structures. All the buildings that are there, the parking garage, the hotel, is all coming down, and the site plan is a lot better than what was initially proposed. And they'll also be back before this body regarding the transfer or a request to transfer the abatement.
So that grant is transferable, even though it's a different party now?
With the council approval, they have to come before this body, and this body has the authority to do that.
Oh,
and they
I didn't know if the state had any involvement in it.
In the abatement? No. I'm talking about the abatement.
Oh.
Not the brownfield grant.
Oh, okay.
Their intention is to use, at this time, from what I understand, the intention is to use the brownfield grant also.
Okay, so it is transferable to the new company.
Well, we're the recipients of it.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
He's saying
that grant is in our, we received the grant.
Yep, okay.
Tony, is there any framework as far as time that has to be used? And are they gonna be?
The grant?
The grant money.
Brownfield
grant money.
No.
But it looks like they committed to first quarter of 26 to start demolition.
Correct. So their plan is to move next construction season forward with the project. And it appears, at least from the preliminary discussions we had, that this is a lot better, in my opinion, than the previous proposal. So, very promising. It's been 2 years now, and we continue to work with the developer, and hopefully they'll move this along once they get all their approvals.
Great, thank you.
Mr. Salvatore, are they gonna be coming from the EDC?
I believe to, transfer, they will have to go before EDC for the abatement. Also, just for the council's, knowledge, with regards to the cannabis disbursement center, for the month of May, we will be receiving approximately $1,500, our share, as a result of their gross sales. And for the month of June, approximately $2,600 for their gross sales.
So how is that reported to us? Do we get some sort of I mean, is it a POS system? Is it a?
We get it from the state.
Oh, okay. So this is this goes off of their gross sales for state tax, and then we get our percentage of whatever.
We get our percentage from their gross sales.
Okay.
And that's all I have to report, unless the councilors have a question.
For the record, I've seen some serious problems happening along the Cromwell Creek, and approximately a few floodings that got into the police dispatcher center. I feel that Mr. Salvatore should be responsible in case the river ever floods over again, because Cromwell Creek is overgrown with vegetation and has been neglected, and it's going to be flowing backwards instead of forward, because all the vegetation can only let so much water go down. So nothing's being done about it, and I just have to say I would have to hold Mr. Salvatore, the town manager, responsible if anything ever happens. My opinion. Thank you.
Okay, any other questions or comments from the,
Well,
do you want to respond to that, Tony?
Well, I kind of take exception to be held responsible. If the council is desirous of the town moving forward, we'll start the process, but you're looking at millions of dollars, as was reported by the firm that we hired to do an analysis on that area. This body also approved the gates that were requested for exactly that purpose when there is flooding. So instead of waiting for public works to come out, a police officer would be able to close the gate, thus in the interest of public safety, shut the road down immediately upon noticing that there's flooding. There's still a lot of unknowns. It's all private property. We have no right to go on the property without proper permits and easements. And if this council is desirous of us doing that, then we'll go ahead and start the process, but it's going to be very costly.
I believe in 2017 or 2018, because it was my first term on the council, and Frank Emanuel was still on the council. I believe that at the time, dredging it would have been $400,000, and I think we voted against doing it at the time because of all of the different impacts that it would have, and how we weren't sure if even dredging it would have solved the problem, and we wanted to have more solid actual plan. And I think the engineering plan that came back in 2023 indicated we would be $1-point-something million to actually do it right. And then I think the other half of the problem over there with the dispatch center is Pearson Park more than anything else. And I know isn't the flooding from the dispatch center really caused more by the Pearson Park culvert and the backup that's there? Or am I mixing?
Cromwell Creek.
No. We addressed the parking lot drainage, situation, if you remember going back, when was that, Lou? 15, yeah, I think it was 15 or 16, when we put the larger pipe in. The last time that there was flooding, the problem was debris came down the creek at West Street and blocked the drainage under West Street, thereby forcing the water to go over the top of West Street and flood the parking lot. We now take precautions where Public Works monitors the pipes that go under West Street to ensure that debris isn't accumulating there, so that we don't have a repeat of what occurred.
That's a state-owned and maintained creek as well, but we did add it to our list just for an added layer of security.
If I may, Mr. Salvatore, when the first time you mentioned this in an estimated cost of $990,000, that was to pipe it in. And I came back with I'm going to say rebuttal. It does not need to be piped. All it has to be is not dredged, just mucked out. Open up the waterway so the water has a place to go. With the vegetation there, that's choking all the water back.
I've never said that $900,000. I never advocated piping that creek. No, I'm sorry.
Well,
that's not true.
Sir.
And mucking it out, we looked into it. We're not even sure if the Corps of Engineers would allow it to be mucked and cast on the side. It might require that the creek be mucked and the material removed, and you're not even sure upon being tested what that material is going to show, and then the cost of disposing of that material. So I believe the 23 study put it in the millions as to what it would cost to do this job.
To muck it?
We can't just go in there and muck it. We don't have deep permits or Corps of Engineer permits.
You do have permission from the landowner, correct?
That doesn't mean anything.
I'm just saying.
Permission from the landowner is one of the easiest parts of the project.
So I think we'll continue to monitor and look into it and see if there's state grants or other money available for it. But I think when we made the priority list, that's why we did the gates, because it's a lower priority compared to some of the other projects. But we'll continue to keep them all in our good graces.
I'll still keep it on for the record.
Yes, absolutely, as is your right. And I'm happy that it's brought up, and it's important that we keep the conversation going on it. Alrighty, any other comments for the town manager? Okay, hearing none, we'll move on to town council liaison reports. I'll start to my right. Any liaison reports from my right?
I think I told you the building committee reported that the solar panels will not result in any upsurge from Eversource.
Yeah, that's great news. So if you guys recall, one of the questions that we had, and one of these things that was a question mark, was if there would be the connectivity cost. So I think it was like $400 or $500 or potentially even $600,000 that we would have to pay 100% of. We're good. Then the application for the solar panels have been approved. So we can hook them up, and I'll leave it to the town manager and the building committee to discuss whether they rent it or buy it or how they want to arrange it. But from the perspective of our appropriation and our approval that went to referendum with the voters as part of the budget referendum, no $600,000 or $400,000 surcharge to connect us to the grid. So that's great.
I'll just mention the rec commission. They've done some great work with the Friday night farmers markets and Wednesday programs. And if you haven't had a chance to go down there on a Friday and walk around and see all the different displays and the people that are down there and enjoy the music, it's a great place to go on a nice Friday night. So I just wanted to give them some kudos in the work that's being done there.
those sentiments, Al?
Most of, my later that had taken summer off.
Fair enough.
EDC,
Well, you presented the ice cream shops, the quarterly.
well, on your behalf, yes. There was 3 ice cream shops, Tall Man, Woody's, and Cromwell Creamery. I turned around, took the place of the town mayor, and gave the presentation to all 3 of them. I'm blank on the date right now, but, which they were well received and taken back, which was good for you.
Good. Celebrating small businesses are very important. We want them to come into town, we want them to stay, and we want them to stay happy.
That was another good thing from Mr. Popper, too.
Yes, it was. And speaking of small businesses, one of our favorite small business owners, Brian Minot, Councilman, do you have any updates?
Fire Commission, they're doing a good job with future planning of assets. They are awaiting, which has been on back order for a while, the ambulance that they purchased. I think their next big project is a ladder truck because of the size of the ladder truck that we have now and the building heights that are now being built. There's a need for a larger ladder truck, and with the delays in production, and you have to kind of look a year or better out, just on the actual truck itself being built and delivered. So they've got that in the works, and they're doing a good job.
Thank you. Paul?
I attended the Cultural District Committee meetings on July 10 and August 6th, and they are continuing to work on the application for the state and waiting to see where that goes. And then I attended the Library Commission meeting on Monday night, and we all know the good work Kara is doing. Kara and her staff are doing.
Out of curiosity, I know it's not the library directly, but it's the Friends of the Library, so presumably, hopefully you guys are in communication. How did they do on their book sale?
They did very well.
Yeah.
It was something around $4,000 was raised. Yeah.
Great. It was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it.
Thanks for being part of it.
Yeah, they snagged me for a little video, which was fun. On the topic of the cultural district, so they are going for the application, just to update folks, they're going for the application with the whole Main Street. The state has expressed a little hesitancy about approving not a compact walkable district, but we feel it's important to include all of Main Street and all the businesses on Main Street as part of our cultural makeup of the town. And if they have feedback or they want to deny us, that's fine, but we want to try to go for the whole thing. It didn't happen, it kind of worked out, so hopefully that will be in as part of those discussions. There's a letter that's under informational items. The Cromwell Creative District, which is a nonprofit, will be dissolving towards the end of this year and supporting the cultural district in their endeavors, and hopefully some of those members and energy goes to the cultural district. I think there was some confusion between, for a while, the different endeavors of the Arts Alliance, the cultural district, and the creative district, and there were a lot of cooks in the kitchen doing the same thing, and I think they're all trying to streamline so that we're all working together to highlight all the assets that we have in town. And I think it makes sense that if there's a town commission that's about a cultural district, which we've designated, regardless of whether the state agrees with us or not, as our Main Street, having that commission be the group that works and plans events along all of Main Street seems to make sense to me, and rather than having multiple people doing it. And I think that's another one. Once we get that up and running, we'll probably have to coordinate how they can fundraise and how they can accept money so that they can continue to do things like grants for the businesses or different programming throughout the year. While we're on liaison reports, just 2 other quick things from my end. The Mattabasset district had a fan blowout that has been replaced. There were odor complaints that were happening, and so that fan has been replaced. I recently saw a letter from a state representative, I think Danny Ouellette was circulating it, that was talking about the overflows in the Connecticut River and how Holyoke and other places can pump raw sewage into the river when there's events and how that kind of impacts the health of everyone downriver. And I have talked with Councilwoman Hewlick, who formerly ran a water safety nonprofit, to try to see if there's maybe a letter of support that we can write as a town, because we're a community that's on the river, and we have a sewage plant in town. And we would very much like to make sure that the water in the town for folks to recreate in is safe. So Ann and I will be looking into that and doing some research to see what local overflow numbers look like, and writing a letter of support to the state. Maybe that's something that the state and Massachusetts can tackle together, and come up with a compact that actually, regulates that a little bit better, because nobody wants to be swimming or boating or recreating in water with discharge in it.
Yeah, of course. Upon what the town mayor is saying about the sewage out of Agawam, they always find it's easier for them to pay the fine than to fix the problem. And what sewage and chemicals do come downriver, as a member of the Cromwell Association, I gave just about all the members a warning, especially the jet skiers. If you have a mosquito bite, you're in that water, you're going to get infected from that chemicals. A couple of years ago, and last year, the river was kind of on the brown side, and that was the chemicals, and plus, I'm not going to say E. coli, nothing was tested, but it's there. And I appreciate what the mayor did as far as trying to get the ball rolling, but I don't think it's going to go far, because it's out of our boundary lines in a way, but whatever we can do to do something for that, for the river, to get it back clean again, because for years that river was mucky and dirty. You used to have sewage run into it from the homeowners. And up till a few years ago, you could go on like the docks down there, you could look right down and look at the river, nice, clear, beautiful. You go swim in there, no problem. Now, you don't dare to. Thank you.
Alrighty, thank you, everyone. So we'll move on now to our finance director's update. Item H1 is the budget report.
Good evening, everyone. In your packet are 2 fiscal years of budget reports. You have fiscal year 25, and then you have budget reports for July of fiscal year 26. My office is still working on collecting all the old year invoices, and we hope to have them all by next week. We are still mid-audit, and that's been very time-consuming in my office, but we like to keep the auditors moving. I am anticipating a slight surplus for fiscal year 25. I'm waiting on all the invoices to come in to see exactly where we are.
What does slight mean?
Give them a
range,
a preliminary breakdown as we discussed.
So this is just an estimate. I'm anticipating approximately about $1 million. And that's mainly due to staffing and benefits and some revenue that we took in that was over budget.
Okay, thank you. Congratulations. It's a good thing, right?
It is a good thing, yeah. Does anyone have any questions?
If I may. How did this, because I didn't see anything from the tax collector, how was so far the taxes as far as the percentage this year?
So I know, so in the budget report it looks lower than what, because my office still has to book some of the collections for July, but Brian gave me his report that compares for July, and July came in at 50.12% of collections of budgeted. 50%.
50%
of the budgeted number for July.
So does that mean we've only collected 50% of the tax revenue bills that went out?
That's what it sounds like.
Yeah, this is Brian, so it doesn't go to you guys. Brian gives me the report. Yeah, he gave me 50.12%.
No.
That can't be.
I think that means.
Is that total yearly?
No. For fiscal year 25, it was 100.9.
Yeah.
of budget for fiscal year 25.
Okay.
Yes, we were 100%, 100.9% of budgeted.
Okay.
Does that make better sense?
Yes. That makes better sense.
That makes, yeah.
Well, I
I hit the panic button.
And I do understand that it's only 50% of the tax due. The other percentage is gonna be January 1st.
Correct.
So that's where probably it's gonna be 50% for one part, 50% for the other. Possibilities?
The card bills go out twice a year.
And he sent out delinquent notices today.
You can answer the question.
Do you know how many?
You're the former board of finance chair, you have it.
Not off the top of my head,
Okay.
sorry.
So we'll keep things,
Thank you.
any other questions, otherwise we'll move on to item H2. Yep. Oh, yeah, so last time we had discussed, I know we were gonna have our joint meeting, but you were gonna run some numbers for us about the different bonding options and what it would
I
look like.
talked to Tony and I was just bringing that information when we had our pre-meeting.
Oh, with John, me, and.
Yeah.
Okay, but I think we wanted to kind of have a handle on it before, like the council had asked for it as well.
Right, but, so instead, I know the bond advisor is coming to the meeting that
In
we have in September, but instead of having him do presentations for you and then that committee, I was just having him do presentations once.
No, I agree with that.
Okay.
I just know that last time we had talked about that you would run some numbers yourself just to kind of give us a better idea.
So you gave me the 4 scenarios that you wanted.
Yes. Were you able to run those?
I did not do that. I was waiting, because he pushed back his presentation.
Sure.
Because interest rates may change in September.
Yes, they may go down, right? Or yeah, down.
Yes, so we were waiting closer to the meeting for him to do the presentation, and I typically get those numbers from him, and then I put them into a mill rate spreadsheet.
Okay. Yeah, whenever they're generated, we like a copy in advance, I think.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I will scan it and send it to him in electronically so you can all have it.
That'd be great. Okay, so moving on to item H2, a discussion and possible action to approve the appropriation of $24,500 for a staffing agency fee for the Planning and Development Director vacancy. Mr. Town Manager.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As previously discussed, we're having a problem finding a replacement for Mr. Popper, and while we've advertised in all the professional association periodicals looking for a manager, we've been unsuccessful in our endeavor, and Sherry Gianfrido in my office came up with the idea and did some research of hiring a headhunter firm to assist us in finding a person, and do you have the memo? The firm, it should be in your packet.
Mind Glance?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
So the firm is willing to give us a reduction if we go forward with them, and she checked the cost. It's definitely in line, and my recommendation is that the council give us the approval and appropriate the $24,500 to hire the firm. It's a guarantee, no payment until the position is full. There's a 6-month also that the party would at least be here for 6 months again before the payment would be made to them, and I think right now it's the only way or the only option that we have.
What?
what steps have we taken to find someone? I mean, how are we going about our very own search?
We've advertised in all the professional periodicals with regards to town planners, CCM, the Rivercog, do you remember what else we did, Cassidy?
Indeed.
Indeed, which is another employee hiring periodical.
Newspapers.
Yeah, we've done all the newspapers.
What is the response rate? What do we?
Not good.
It's a hard pill to swallow to pay somebody $24,500 to hire somebody for us.
Don't they usually work on a
That we're gonna pay
percentage of
salary
the
to.
Salary.
compensation?
Yeah, and they're willing to do it at 20% of the salary. You're 100% correct, Your Honor.
Mr. Salvatore, Mr. Poplar right now is part-time, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, so the wages he was initially getting, he's not getting anymore.
That's correct.
So if we did this 24/5, that would probably make up the difference for what he was getting to what he's getting now, or close to it, correct?
If you're asking me, is there funds in that line item, the answer is yes.
Yeah, I think what he's saying is really we're spending his, from Al, right, Al, if I'm wrong, you're saying from your perspective, this is the money we would have been paying him, but we're paying it to find somebody to replace him instead. So it's not like it's new money we're coming up with. My question, Tony, is, and I've always been a little fuzzy on this, why is this not something that we have to go out to bid for the lowest bidder? I thought it was anything over $12,500 for a contractor we had to go out for.
Oh, I haven't gone there yet. I was
Okay.
gonna ask the council to waive the purchasing,
Okay.
so that we could use this firm that gave us a reduced rate.
Okay.
But I haven't gone there yet, cause I wanted to see what the reaction is on hiring a professional firm to, assist us in finding a replacement. Could I use the money out of the salary account if they approve it? It still has to go to Board of Finance. So, but I could request using it that way.
Yes.
Yeah. So I could get your approval to use, the funding out of the salary account to offset this, as Mr. Waters is indicating, and then with the Board of Finance's approval, I can go forward.
Thank you.
So you're looking for two motions, then one to waive the bidding, and then second to go with this group, and then do you need a third motion to propose to transfer the fund? Do you need the line item to go to Board of Finance?
Typically for the town council, I don't put where the money's coming from.
Okay.
It just says we're asking for this money.
Okay.
I need two. I need the approval to spend the $24,500, and I need a waiver for this company to be utilized.
And then let me just ask this. So let's say they come up with 3 candidates. Do you then interview, do we have a hiring, do you interview them with HR and make sure that they're, actually up to snuff and they're not just somebody that this company's found and thrown at us to meet their contractual obligation?
Yes.
Like we actually have to, they vet them, they come to us, but if we don't think they're a fit, we can still say no, and we still don't have to pay this company until we find a fit.
Don't we generally have other town managers come in and interview too, to see what their qualifications really are?
It depends on what the position is. In this case here, we may bring in an additional town planner. I would, in all likelihood, rely on Mr. Popper to help do an evaluation of the candidate they propose. And again, it's a guarantee on the replacement.
Thank you.
Thank you. So if, any more questions?
No, I was just gonna say, and you would likely be somebody who would be engaged in that process too. get
Yeah.
it moving along, so it seems like it would make sense.
I have a question about the bidding process. How, does it take a substantial amount of time to go out to bidding? Like, what is the reasoning behind waiving the bidding process if we could get somebody to come in under 24 or 5?
They offered us, well, this firm, the normal rate as outlined is, the range of 20 to 35% of the salary. This firm has come in and offered us the 20.
And based on my experience, I mean, that's how headhunters work. They take a percentage of the.
No, I understand. I get that. It's just that, we've only talked to one company. What if you're going out to bid, you need 3 bids, and somebody says, oh, we'll give you, we'll do it for 15%.
Has CCM recommended this group, or have they worked with CCM before? Or COG before?
I'm not familiar. Sherry did all of the research on this.
And I know there's a sense of urgency with this, so that's what I was wondering was, is there a timeline whereas, it would take us much longer to see if there were better offers?
Well, it's not quotes as you're describing through quotes. It would mean putting a bid package together and going out for a formal bid.
90 days on bids normally, right?
Excuse me?
It's 90 days normally on bids once we put the bid packet together.
It's whatever we give theoretically, but you do want to give enough time for people to see it and be able to put their package together.
Mr. Manager, you're talking about waivering it. How would you go about, let me rephrase it, the ratings? If you're getting somebody that's 20% cheaper, how are their ratings? Meaning, are they like 1-star, 2-star, 5-star? In other words, that way we need to know, because if we get somebody with a 1-star, that's what we're going to wind up getting for probably a town planner. If we get a 5-star, they're going to be finding some people that are good.
This firm was recommended to me by the woman that works for us in HR.
Well, the thing there is,
She did the research.
what is the ratings if you're going to hire? Or do you want us to waiver?
I think this is more like realtor. I mean, they're a standard percentage generally, and
But the ratings though.
we don't have that much time to go 90 days to find a bid, and they've given us a discount.
But haste makes waste.
Well, maybe not if they all charge 20 to 35%.
But I think the qualifications, Ms. Julie, that's all.
Any other questions or comments on it? I mean, my only comment would be, I kind of want to see if CCM or COG has experience with this group before we hire them, just because those are the people in the state that help municipalities, hire and maintain and find town staff. So, but I also know that this is something we really need to move on. Is it possible that we have a special meeting on August 25th? Is it possible for us to
We can add it
to this, reissue the special meeting agenda for the 25th and add this and just float this company out to COG and to CCM and just say, has anyone worked with them before? Did people have good experiences with them?
We'll do a little bit more research and see
because
if we
before
can.
we waive bidding on it, I want to make sure we're waiving bidding for a company that somebody in the state has had a good experience with.
We'll vet this company and see if we can get the answers for the council and have it ready for the 25th.
Yeah, I think that's good. So I think that is.
So if you would table that item.
Yep. Can I have a motion to table pending further review? Made by Jack. Second by Brian. Any further discussion on that? Hearing none. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries. Number H3, tax refunds.
Motion approved 1 through 11.
Second.
Made by Al, second by Jack. Any further discussion on that? Hearing none. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries. Chief of Police update. Chief. Thank you for bearing with us 2 hours. I appreciate you.
No problem. So, in front of your packet, I just want to highlight a couple things and add a few things. As many of you know, I want to thank the town manager and Ms. Luna for last Friday night. We had our softball tournament against the fire department. It was a great event. A lot of supporters came out to support both the fire department and the police department. With that being said, they raised about $450, a little over $450 to give to the Children's Coalition. So it was just a great event. Town manager threw the first pitch, Ms. Boone was out there. I want to say there had to be over 100 people watching the game. It was a great game. Al, I'm not going to say who won.
Oh, please
Because I know you're going to ask me.
Please do.
I know the police department won, but I won't say the score.
Well, that's good.
But it was a great event either way. Both sides, I think, had a great time. Great time.
Fun for all. It was a cliffhanger, wasn't it?
It was a cliffhanger, absolutely.
Yeah. Just the relative size of the cliff, right?
For those of you that come out and support on August 22nd, from 1 to 4 at Walmart, we're doing our back to school supply drive. If you'd like to come out and support the police department's back to school drive, we'd love to have you. Again, it's going to be at Walmart from 1 to 4 on August 22nd. As I let the town manager know, last week we became one officer short. One of our laterals who came from another town, who retired from another town, had decided that mutually that it's time for him to give up law enforcement and just decided that it's not his heart anymore, and he gave his resignation. So it's not stopping me or delaying me in putting that third SRO in the schools. We're still moving forward with that. We're still in good shape. Only being one down. I've already put it out on our police app where we hire new candidates, and I already have in one day I have 13 candidates already. So I'm not worried about filling the position. I have it open for 2 more weeks to see what the total outcome will be. So I'm not stressing. I'm not worried about it.
Would you be so kind to email me when you're having the swearing in, please?
Absolutely. It will be a few months, but I will let you know.
Please do. Thank you.
I received a call last week from a sheriff out of Worcester County, Maryland, Sheriff Matt Crispoli. He wanted to thank me for one of my officers who was driving home from vacation. Officer Michael Wren, who came from Weathersfield, was driving home from vacation with his family. He was at a gas station in Maryland when he heard a loud bang. He ran outside from the gas station and found a car that hit a pole, rolled over into a side ditch. Power lines were down. Officer Wren acted like any police officer would do. He was the first one there, went into action and saved some lives by making the scene safe and checking on the operator and passenger. So he just wanted to thank me for Officer Wren's quick response to such an incident.
Citations should be made for him.
So I want to thank him for giving me a call and let me know what happened. Last Friday, Officer Mark Thomason completed his 2 weeks motorcycle school. So I have a new motorcycle officer. As many of you know, Sergeant Kogut has been a motorcycle officer for many, many, many years. He's not going to be here forever. He's going to retire in a few years. So we had to make sure we had someone who could take his spot. And Mark Thomason is pretty much the only other officer who rides a motorcycle. So he was an excellent choice. And he graduated and finished class. And hopefully we'll see him on the motorcycle.
Great. Any questions? Anything else?
Questions?
Okay. Any questions for anyone?
Chief?
Yes.
Seeing Mr. Billy's been the only one riding that motorcycle, I hope you can adjust the seat for the new person.
I think they're about the same size.
Okay.
So it works out perfect.
Thank you.
One of my friends just got a ticket in the mail, a red light camera. Do we have any of those?
No.
So we do not have red light cameras, and the town manager asked me to look into that because I know Middletown has it.
The light coming off of Route 9 where it says no turn on red, boy, we could make a lot of money on that. Really.
So,
everybody turns back on red.
just so you know, Your Honor, I asked the council 2 years ago, before this council, if they wanted to explore red light cameras. Actually, they're not red light cameras. They're speeding cameras. They didn't pass the red light one. At that time, the council said no, but in the meantime, I did last week or the week before ask the chief to check into it, if the council wanted to move in that direction. But, my preference is to continue with, police officer contact with the public rather than, getting something in the mail.
Yeah, one of my big concerns with the speed light cameras is like a due process issue when there's an officer can testify and clock it in with the cameras. You have to prove that it was the person driving. There's a lot of easier ways to contest a ticket when you don't have the actual officer making contact and doing the interaction. For what it's worth, I mean, a lot of the tickets are being thrown out when they're being contested because there's issues authenticate. That's at least what I heard.
But I think
There's a lot more involved with these cameras, speed cameras. I mean, it's not only that, it's you have to have public hearings, you have to have a town ordinance, because their town ordinance tickets are not state tickets. So they will come from like the Middletown is from the town of Middletown. And the first time is $50, second time is $75. And then you gotta figure out, okay, who's collecting this money if they don't pay? And if they do pay, or they do plead, I wanna plead not guilty, it goes to the chief of police first in Middletown. He says yea or nay. If he says you gotta pay, you then have to set up a hearing board.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. How much of your time would be taken up with, hearing traffic tickets that the town has mailed out to people off of red light?
If I stood here and told you how much time we spend just on FOI requests for body camera video, that alone could take almost a full-time person. If we had this and it was such a big amount like Middletown has, that would also, that takes time to do. I would have to assign someone to watch and hit send, and then there's no discretion. It's just a license plate, it goes to that address, and you get your ticket. There's no more discretion.
And then if they fight it, you hear it.
Correct. Like the town manager said, there's
also time.
There's no contact, there's no seeing that police car on the street, so it also slows down traffic besides, the visibility. There's a lot more involved, I think. The importance of having a cruiser out there on a road. Now granted, you can't be everywhere, but having a cruiser on the road, and people seeing their tax dollars being used.
Chief, quite a few years back, and I think it was the town manager when he was police chief, they had a good thing going over there to solve the problem at the time. Correct me, Tony, if I'm wrong. When you had a couple of officers in camouflage, and as they left through the red light, and they left out the Shumpike, heading to Middletown, there was 2 officers standing there, just pulled them over and ticketed them right there. And that was a 1-2.
Camouflage?
No, the camouflage was one guy was picking garbage on the side of the road, and he would radio it to a unit waiting.
And it worked.
And it worked. It did work. So as they went through the red light, the officer picking garbage would radio it to the sitting unit, who'd flag the vehicle over and issue a citation.
That's something. Chief, I have 2 quick items for you. I got an email from a citizen today. I haven't forwarded it to you yet. But the citizen wrote me about the Raptor badge system that Berlin schools are using for a rapid emergency response. I said I would look into it, so I'll just forward you that email. I sent it to Selena for the Board of Ed already.
It'd be on the school side.
Yeah.
They are starting, I believe, the Newtown Promise system that is going to be starting this year. I know we had meetings about that, but that'll be on the school side. I know there's cost in that too, so.
Okay, cool. And then my other question is, I saw that, it always puzzles me, and it puzzled me when I was in high school. The kids that stand in the Dairy Queen parking lot and just stand there from like 6 o'clock until 10 o'clock, and they just stand there in a circle. They're not really doing anything other than standing there in a circle. Sometimes they'll, bring like a ball or something and throw it back and forth. We don't have a community center where they can go in the evenings in the summer. Do you think there'd be any benefit to exploring with the SRO about I know we have town hall open gym at hours, but at one of the schools opening the gym over the summer, so if kids want to go somewhere to stand around in a circle, they can stand around in a circle that's not in a parking lot in a dark our parking lot. It just boggles. I live in the condos behind Dairy Queen, and I drive home sometimes, and I just see them standing there, and I, one, feel bad that they're just standing in a parking lot, but then two, wonder, is it because they don't have anywhere else to go, and we're not, there's nowhere for them to go? Is that something, I saw Hartford did something like that, but, or are they still gonna just stand in the parking lot, there's nothing to do? Okay.
So, I mean, I was a high school kid once, you
Yeah.
were a high school kid once.
I never stood in a
I
parking
don't
lot.
wanna be somewhere where I'm being chaperoned by
Sure.
police, school, cause there's cost to that, obviously.
Yes, true.
We're gonna open up the school building, building
No, you're
maintenance
right,
has to be
you're
there.
right. I just,
You know, there's going to be a lot of cost to that, but as kids come, they're not gonna wanna come to where they're being chaperoned.
Sure.
They wanna be able to be themselves, talk to their friends without an adult listening or adult watching.
And prior to Route 9 opening, it was Texas.
It's always somewhere. I mean, I can tell
Yeah,
you, where I
Right,
grew up, I
Michael?
can tell you, it
Oh,
was
yeah.
Texas. I mean, it's every town has one.
Yeah, I just feel bad, they just stand in the circle there, but I mean, each to their own. Okay, thank you, Chief.
Well, my hope is to get thrown out of Texas.
Any other questions for the chief? Otherwise, we'll move along. It's 9 o'clock and we still have more items.
Awesome. So I look forward to seeing anybody on August 22nd.
Chief, again, I wish I could be there, but I have to pay a mouse some debt.
We'll buy some back to school stuff and bring it. Have some
I will do that. Public Works Director, enough ears for everybody. They have the the back to school, back to school drive at Walmart.
Good evening. You guys have my updates in your packet, and I'd like to add a few quick items. First and foremost, Mr. Waters, last time we had an auction of our surplus equipment. You asked me to keep you informed. We have one going off within the next few days. We're waiting to gather all of the certificate of origins and titles for the vehicles, but we're trying a new platform this time. It's govdeals.com, and you can click on this state of choice if you're interested in, or if anybody's listening is interested in viewing our items. So that'll be going off in the next few days.
Could you email me the date and time for that, please?
I'll email you when it goes live. As soon as we get the paper together, I'm anticipating Friday or right after the weekend, but as soon as I know the date, I'll certainly reach out. Second item, with the ARPA funds, we approved the radio upgrade project a couple years ago now, and it's been taking a lot of time and a lot of frustration to get this thing moving forward. But we do have a tentative date to begin the installation of the base units and the mobile units in all of our vehicles, and that is a week from today, actually, August 20th. The one issue that's been really dragging this is still outstanding. The state has rejected every portable unit. We spec'd out like 15 handheld portable units to be used by staff, and the state, for whatever reason, because we're on their frequency, has rejected every portable unit that Motorola and Utility Communications has recommended. I'm told that they're nearing a conclusion of this, and that they should have one mutually agreed upon very shortly, and they are aware of the timeline to expend all of the ARPA funds, which is 12/31 of this year. So the good news is they anticipate being complete long before that time. And lastly, I am a member of the Connecticut Tree Warden Association for the last 6 years, and each year we, as a board, pick a community to receive it's called the Thanksgiving tree donation, and typically it goes to a municipality in memory of someone or something. So I petitioned the board to consider Cromwell this year in memory of Mayor Alan Spots, and that has been accepted. So for anyone that's interested, and I hope that a couple of you are available to attend the ceremony and speak, it'll probably take place the end of October or first week of November, typically is the time of year we do it. But we'll be planting a tree in Pearson Park, and his memoriam comes with a brass plaque, and the plaque will read, "This sugar maple was donated by the Tree Warden Association of Connecticut, dedicated to the memory of Mayor Alan Spots for his love and dedication to the town of Cromwell, 2025.
Very nice.
So hopefully a couple of you are available and interested in attending, and I'll certainly keep you aware when we firm up a date.
Would you please?
Please.
And that is all I have.
Any questions for the Public Works Director? we had spoken a couple months ago about putting the pavement management study that, on the town website. Has that happened yet?
It has not. In fact, after the budget was approved by the boards, February, March, April, our vendor informed us that they were raising the rate to run that program significantly to the tune of 200 and 250%. So what we did is we informed them that at the end of fiscal year, June 30th, we weren't going to use them any longer, and that we would rebid it hopefully in the next fiscal year, because it kind of aligns. We do a 5-year update, have a company come in and assess the roads, and we're due in 2026. What I did do is I had Mr. Harriman run based on the funding that was available for this fiscal year to give us an idea where we may want to expend that money. So I did run it for the last time. We input the funds we had just prior to it going away on June 30th.
Okay.
So I'm anticipating when we get into budget cycle this December, January, February, that we'll put in a request to do that 5-year analysis, which is typically about $25,000-ish to do the town, and then we'll know more. I think it was only like $3 grand to run the program to support it, but they just fired out after all our budget was approved that it was going up to $6,500 or $7,000. I don't remember the exact numbers.
So once that's done, we can have it on the website, because what I want residents to be able to do is, because a lot of times they say, oh, when's my road going to get paved?
Yep.
We have an objective study that says, we prioritized it by traffic, by use, by age, by wear and tear, and everything's graded. So I want people to be able to see it, rather than me asking you, hey Lou, when's this on the roster?
Yep.
I want somebody to be able to go on the town website and be able to see it, since we paid for it.
Yeah.
My other question for you is, well, actually, I guess the other question for you was on the I don't know if you're staying with us for the facilities committee concept discussion, but did you have any input on the facilities committee and anything from your end?
I guess I'm somewhat confused, and I think this ordinance change is similar to what was proposed early on for charter revision, and I did send my opinion on that a month or two ago, whatever. I guess I have the same confusion. As I said in that memo, currently when we do any project, or department head asks for funding for the infrastructure or a building or road paving projects, there already is a system of checks and balances, right? It gets vetted by the town manager, comes to this board, and then it goes to the Board of Finance. So I guess if you think you need more than that, so be it. I'm not opposed to working with anyone. I just don't understand if you got staff that are competent in their job. I think there are some concerns maybe on the Board of Ed side, because I think for the last 11 years certainly we've done a great job maintaining all of our facilities, all new roofs, anything that we need and we know we need, we certainly, through the budget process, or a couple times if it's an emergency, something unexpected jumps up, we come and ask for an appropriation. But I'd like to know more about what we're hoping to accomplish with it, I guess, if there's an opportunity to discuss it. But
Mr. Mayor?
Yeah.
I shared it with Mr. Spina, Mr. Harriman, and the Director of Finance. And staff has requested that tonight you table this after you have any discussion, and have a meeting with us, perhaps Steve, if you want. And as Mr. Spina has stated, they can give you their concerns.
Sure.
They can hear your concerns, and maybe some of it could be addressed and as a result of the meeting.
Sure.
But we'd like to have a meeting prior to going forward, if you so inclined.
Okay, that makes sense to me. Are you staying for that discussion later? Do you want me to start?
I can if you need me.
No, it's up to you. So I don't want to keep you.
If I answer your questions, I'll go, and if you think you need me for more, I'll stick around.
The concept is, I brought to charter. You saw the proposal to Charter Revision Commission, to have a facilities committee. or facilities director who's in charge of assessing and maintaining and creating business plans and plans for facilities maintenance and improvements. Board of Ed recently hired a facilities director to maintain their buildings. I think personally that there should be one facilities person for all of the town buildings, but that's neither here nor there for now. But after discussing it with Charter Revision, the Charter Revision and the town attorney, kind of the feedback was this is more of an ordinance than it is a charter item. But I think what we are looking for as a council and what we were looking on Charter Revision as and what we were looking at from Board of Finance perspective is there needs to be a better live assessment process for how we catalog, assess our current assets, and how we plan for the replacement in the future, and how do we stagger those, and how do we stack those, and how do we have a business plan for it, right? And we've talked a lot as a council about I know this is something you're working on, but on Brian, help me with the phrase, the vehicle assets plan, fleet management plan. We want a building management plan, right? We want to be able to say, you know, the roof of this building is going to last 20 years, it's going to need to be replaced, but oh look, this other building's roof is 18 years, those are really close to each other, how do we stagger those so we make the investments at the right time? And more than just an inventory, but we want to develop an actual live plan that is actively making recommendations and assessing, kind of what Gordian did for the school building, but for the town. Because honestly, after paying all that money to Gordian to do that job, I think people could have done the job that Gordian did without paying $90,000 to a consulting company to do it. We just have to develop the infrastructure to be able to do it. Because what Gordian did was they said, that light bulb right there is going to last 2 years, and you have 52 light bulbs in this room, they cost $20 each, you're going to have to replace them in 2 years, that costs this much money. There's no reason that we can't put all of our heads together and start doing that work. And the idea, the concept that I was presenting was to have a committee made up of some volunteers plus town staff that report to it, that building by building, you know, kind of comb through each asset and kind of help figure out what do we need to do next, when is it coming up, when is it due, and kind of really drill down on it, because it's a lot of, I know the town staff has a lot of day-to-day responsibilities, so the idea was to have a commissioner or board that would be doing this work. Berlin, Rocky Hill, have commissions that's what they do. They're public citizens with backgrounds in engineering, public service, different things, and they come together every month and they assess different buildings, and then they make recommendations to the town council at budget time saying, hey, we want you to be aware that this building is approaching, the plumbing system's approaching its useful life, just so you're aware of it. And it then gives everybody the tool to make their budget proposals with more finality or specificity. And I think that's what we need to start moving to do, just because of the number of buildings that we're now managing and the number of facilities that we're managing. So for example, we have a brand new public works facility, right? How long what kind of PM is going to be needed to keep that facility where it is right now, because it's relatively new? How long do things last in that building? You know, those are the kinds of things that I think a facilities committee would be able to help the various departments touch the grass with and move it forward. That's kind of what my proposal is based off of, and that's what I would, if it's we have a couple different versions in here too. Steve had his kind of concept with like what kind of data he was looking for. I put in there what Berlin does and how Berlin manages it. I put in how Madison, Rocky Hill, Litchfield, all kind of do it, just so you can see like there's different approaches to it. Yep. And then some of them are more involved, some of them are less involved. Some of them turn into building committees when there is a large project. If there's a really big project, they like help do what the school building committee does, which is like oversee the construction stuff. I'm not saying we have to do that, but I think that was the framework of what my proposal was to get public involvement on it and to also kind of push us forward to bring us to that next step. Because, I'll use the fleet management program as an example, right? I want to be able to say that a vehicle I want to be able to know as a board, from a planning perspective, that, I don't know, a police vehicle lasts 100,000 miles. And based off of our current usage, we know that it hits 100,000 miles after 6 years. So we need to be, and it takes a year to order it. So on the 5th year, we need to be planning to put in that purchase. And right now, we kind of slow roll into it where we have it somewhere out in the horizon, but it's not really plugged in with how the other moving parts coalesce together. And so that hasn't been happening, and I think we had these facility meetings to go over boarding, and we realized the $50 million number is really a $30 million number, but it took us like 8 meetings of going through it to realize that their numbers weren't really accurate. And we can do that work. Like, we can figure, but we need a group that's what they do. So that is the concept behind it.
Okay.
So I think when we get to that agenda item, we'll talk about it more. What I would be looking for is to eventually start to craft an ordinance on it. It's not ready yet, so we could definitely have a meeting with staff about it. I'm looking for the council's blessing to move ahead and start working on crafting an ordinance on it.
Okay.
Does that make a little more sense?
It makes sense, and if it were to come to fruition, I like that you said that you're gonna look for engineers and people, with the relevant background, because, there's an awful lot of work and planning that goes already, and I know you bring up the fleet, and we do have a 5-year plan, just, it's a moving target. I mean, if we kind of have a plan, a template out there, but if in the middle of a year, you look back the last 5, 6, 7 years, we had a chief mechanic at the time that told us a payloader was unsafe and that it had structural damage, and he in his words red tagged it. Well, that wasn't in our 5-year capital, because quite honestly, that was a 1999, and we have an 86 that's still in service, So it's fluid, it does change, and I know there are employees out there that think differently because they don't get everything that they ask for, but
well, and in my proposal, what I had drafted was that 4 of the members, preference would be given to individuals with construction, engineering, architecture, facilities management, financial planning, or local government or building trades experience. Those would be the kinds of people we'd be trying to get to serve on it, so they have like a little bit of background. But do you have a copy of the new one?
I have it in my office.
Okay, I'm happy to give you this one too if you want to. But that is what we're trying to do. Steve has kind of the structure of it in more detail too, though.
Okay, I'll digest it a little bit tomorrow when I get
And we'll have our
I think the staff meeting will be beneficial for you.
Yeah, that's fine. Thank you.
Okay, you guys want me to hang around, or?
No, I think that's fine. I think I heard your feedback, unless other people have questions.
I've got one question. Is there anywhere in the future a plan to move the Parks Department out of the middle of Waters Park? I walked it the other day with Jamie, and we were looking at something, we were going over something, land out there and everything else, and it's just, it's our most heavily used park, and we have the Parks Department fenced in and 2 piles of topsoil in cement corrals, and it's just an eyesore. And I know that we built a new facility over, and we moved almost all the other departments over to, the public works and the garage and the sewer, and everybody's now over in one area, and the Parks Department is still sitting in the middle of our heavily used park with, it looks like an eyesore.
Okay.
And I
So
didn't
the
know if
answer
there was
is
any
no,
sort of.
there are no current plans to construct a new facility or relocate them at this time.
Could they be tied into the present Public Works Department?
No.
Enough room over there for the equipment?
No.
I mean, I don't want to say we're busting out of the seams, but it's amazing that we took when you added up the square footage of all the facilities that highway and sewer moved out of, and added them together and more than doubled it out there, and yet, we somehow seem to
He's asking
fill that thing up pretty quickly.
He's asking you if their equipment could be moved to highway, and that is no.
Yeah,
Is there any space left where we moved it? Public Works out of down in back of Pearson Park? I haven't really looked around down there, but there's no.
No, we knocked down all the old buildings and rehabilitated the Dick Noble building, so.
Like I said, it's a bit of an eyesore to see, piles of dirt by the tennis courts and.
Well, years ago, the Board of Selectmen made a decision to put that facility at that location.
Understandable, things change.
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing with you, but
Yeah.
nobody's ever expressed it or come up with the money to move them. And nobody ever expressed it when the new highway facility was being planned or built. They were never included.
But if you
Is
dress
there
up.
a reason why it was never included?
Huh?
Is there a reason why it was never included, or we just didn't?
I think everybody
think we
felt
needed to
they
move?
were, where they were was satisfactory.
I think that's what happened, it just became adequate.
I mean, they gave, that division, the additional building at that location. There used to be only the brick building.
Right.
And then they received the additional building at their,
Storage building,
at
yeah.
the prior foreman's request, I think.
Is there any way to make the appearance a lot better than what it is?
Well, I think the foreman did that on his own, right?
Did what?
What I complained about.
Oh, the stockpiles?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Didn't
that's
he do
something
that on his own?
Yeah, he did. He thought it would be easier than going to the highway garage and picking
Yeah.
material, because we have similar bins at the highway garage with similar materials.
So I agree with you on the appearance.
Well, yeah, and it's not just that, I mean, it's the
Well.
whole fenced-in area with equipment there, I mean, it's just smack dab in the middle of our most heavily used.
That's not unusual for parks departments, though, in municipalities at any rate.
Alrighty, hearing.
But I agree with you on the appearance, and it should be addressed.
Any other questions for Lou? Okay, hearing none, Lou, thank you for your time this evening. Much appreciated. And we'll set up like a meeting with me, you, and Steve, and John, and whoever else you want to be there 2 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks from now.
Okay, appreciate it,
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. Alrighty, unfinished business. We have no items of unfinished business. Do you guys need a break, or do you want to keep going?
Keep going.
Okay. Item M1, discussion and consideration of new local assessment options. Sean, I'm guessing that's you.
She's the only one
Shauna,
standing up.
tap that mic for me, will you please?
Yeah.
So I can hear it. Yeah, okay.
Good evening. So I'm here to talk to you about a couple of different things, but first I figure it would be best for me to give you just an update about the grand list. So we had 3 real estate court cases that were settled, which removed $12 million from our grand list from the real estate side. I looked at the grand list today, and the real estate, believe it or not, is only down a little less than $1 million on the real estate side. So that was very optimistic at the point. Personal property, that doesn't happen until November, so that always goes up. And motor vehicles, depending on what happens tonight, it should still go up no matter what. So the grand list should be relatively flat, maybe a little higher, where I was fearful that it would go down next year. So I am optimistic that it will at least be the same or a little better. I'm also here to tell you, the council too, just to give you a heads up, not the 25 grand list, which is coming next, the 26 grand list, we have 2 abatements that will be, one is going away and one is being reduced that year. And so that is 29 million assessment dollars that will be added to the grand list. So that will be a very large increase, regardless of what else happens in this town. So if we can get through the 25 grand list, which is the next budget year, there's a rainbow at the end of this for you guys. So keep that in mind. Whatever you want to do about if you may need a surplus or something to help with the budget next year, at least you know you can replenish it with a lot of growth from the 26 grand list. Also, the revaluation is in 27, so that's another year later, but obviously that changes a lot of things. But so even though this year may be a little tough with the grand list, after that it should go up.
Great.
So that all being said, I'm here for 2 reasons. One, we discussed it, was the motor vehicle option that towns had. We chose not to do it. 105 towns did choose the higher depreciation table. 81% of the vehicles did go down. I didn't really hear too many complaints from the people that went down, but the 19% were there to speak up. And I think the biggest thing is the old vehicles, because they were 500 before, and then they went up. I mean, not that it was a large bill, but they went up sizably compared to what they were in the past, so they really spoke up the loudest. And now that it's no longer a value tax, everybody comes in and says, my vehicle isn't worth, well, it's no longer a value tax. It's just strictly an MSRP times depreciation. It's meant to never go up. So, it's a lot of work the first year, but we've kind of got past that now. I really haven't, I only know one person that's really going to the board. It is a statewide problem. It's, believe it or not, it's exactly the car I got, 2023 Teslas. It depends when you buy it, because a lot of car brands, they have their MSRP, and then you have your President's sale, or, beginning of summer sale. They don't change the MSRP, they just discount the price. Well, Tesla changes the price every month. They need to sell more cars, they lower the price. Everybody's buying them, they raise the price. So they just change the price. So there's some people out there that says, hey, you have this price, I pay different price. Well, as I've told a lot of my colleagues, at the end of the day, it's about being fair and equitable to everybody. So if you have the same car in the town, you should be paying the same tax. If you have a 23 Tesla, if you bought it a little less or a little more, everybody should be being valued the same. But they have the right to go to the BAA, so that is going to be September 2nd, so if anybody's going to go. As far as I know, only one person's going. So we were here to discuss, should we change the depreciation table from starting at 85 and going down to 15 to the 90-20. So what would that impact would be for us would be about $10 million extra in the motor vehicle grant list, and everybody's assessment for the most part would not change. So because your car would be 1 year older, which would mean you would be down 5%, but this would bump it up 5%, so everybody's car tax would be almost exactly the same, depending on what the mill rate was, if you chose to do that. I'm not here to promote that, but we did say we would discuss that, so that's what we're doing.
What would be the revenue based off the current mill rate that if it went up by the 10 million, what does that equivalent equate
Well,
to?
it doesn't equate to any revenue because you're just going to adjust the mill rate. So
No, I understand that, but based off of where we are right now, if that was an impact right now, are we talking like we're gathering $5,000 more a year, or are we gathering, with a $10 million assessment, what are we gathering off of that?
Well, you could take 10 million times the mill rate. I didn't do the math, so I'm sorry. Again, like I said, it would just adjust the mill rate.
Okay.
So the mill rate for the town is 27.33.
There has to be an increase. What the mayor's asking is what the increase would be, and if we change from the percentage we're at right now to the 90-20, it's going to increase. There's going to be
the motor vehicle gram list would go up about 10 million. Again, that's my job, is assessment.
Right. So what he's asking you is what would that be in actual?
But then you would lower the mill rate, so it wouldn't raise taxes.
Who says we're lowering?
Well, you would, because the gram list would go higher whenever you take, one of the equations, when you take the budget, you divide it by the gram list to come up with your mill rate. And if the mill rate goes up by 10 million, your mill rate would be just a little lower.
I understand that Board of Finance will then make adjustments based off of what the gram list is and what the revenues are, but I'm trying to figure out, if we're being asked to essentially make a decision about raising people's taxes, which is what the practical impact of raising the assessment value of their cars are going to be, I want to know what the municipality sees off of a $10 million jump in our grand list. Is that a substantial financial impact for us revenue-wise, or is that you know, is the burden not, on the residents not worth the?
Well, based
Let's
on
make
the
it
current mill
simple,
rate,
let's
based
make
on the
it
current
simple,
mill rate.
keep the mill rate the same.
Yeah,
And
but
do,
I was gonna say, if you don't change the mill rate, it's $270,000.
there you go.
Okay. If I may. Go ahead.
And more people would be unhappy.
Correct.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yes, sir.
Correct me if I'm wrong, the motor vehicle department, aren't they owned by the Kelly Blue Brook now?
No.
No,
Who is?
no
No
one.
one.
Kelly.
It has nothing to do with taxes.
Registration fees.
Nope.
I don't know.
No, what he's asking, the assessors are now going by, which book?
Kelly Blue
Still,
Book?
No.
J.D. Power. And the DMV has a contract with J.D. Power, and that's where they get their MSRPs from. That's the way.
Similar to Kelly Blue Brook, but a different name.
Well, it's another company that does the same thing as Kelly
All right.
Blue Book. I have looked at it, there's also Price Digest, the MSRP should be the same no matter what, but I have found small variations, you know, $200 difference, but basically, the MSRP is the MSRP.
A lot of people would start buying old cars.
Maybe. I mean, you can predict now pretty much what once you have your depreciation table, you know how old the car is, you can do that times the mill rate, and you'll know what your motor vehicle tax will be.
Thank you. Is it true that trailers are no longer, the actual trailers are now exempt?
Utility trailers are only exempt. Only utility trailers that are used for personal use only. So if it's in a business name, it is not exempt.
So like, my husband's jet ski trailer is now, the trailer itself is exempt?
That would be, yes.
Huh. DMV, yeah, no, I'm just curious, because I heard the trailers were now exempt. So the decision that we need to make as a council, which we had declined to act on because we wanted to see what other towns were doing, is we want to change the do we want to change the depreciation model from 85 to 90%?
Right. Basically, you would increase everybody's by 5%. The floor would go from 15%, so all the people with the old cars would go to 20%.
And
What's an old car?
Yeah, what's
20 years or more. Now, there is a workaround, which we've told a lot of people, you can go get the classic plate from DMV.
And then
it's a
20 years,
flat,
right?
500 assessment.
Mm-hmm.
They have tried to change that almost every year, because that was assessed back in 1960s, and it's never gone up. And so the assessors are always trying to get them to raise that, but it is still 500, but you have to have that classic plate. And so some people have complained that, well, it's gonna cost me some registration fee to change it from, you know, regular plate to classic plate, but if you want the $500 assessment, that's what you have to go do.
So is it a choice of 85 or 90, or could you do like 87.5, or it's 85 or 90? Those are the binary choice.
Yep.
Would you be able to run numbers for us, like with a little bit more, what you just said verbally, kind of in a memo outlining for us, like based off of the current catalog, what would an average car owner see their taxes go up or down based off of the 5% change, just based off of this year's numbers?
Oh, I did that back in, I believe it was March when I was here.
When it was introduced. Yeah, when it was introduced, you did that.
And again, it was the residential people if you had one car, you basically broke even, because basically the mill rate difference would have been there. You had two cars, you would have paid more taxes. And the businesses would pay less taxes. So, I mean, I certainly can, if you want me to pick a few cars, I could, but actually it would be the same this year, it just wouldn't be 5% lower.
Understood. Okay. I think I need to see those numbers again before I personally make a decision on that, because I don't want to shoot from the hip and raise people's taxes unless we have a reason, it makes sense to do that. Like I'm uncomfortable doing that, shooting off the hip without like looking at the numbers again to see what the average
Do you have an opinion?
Yeah, I wouldn't change it at this point, because the grant is going to maintain this year, and again, we're going to get 29 million the year after, so I would not be looking, I would recommend not changing it. Why raise it? Everybody just got used to where it is. Why are we going to change it? Now, people are going to come in and say, I thought it was going to go down, and it didn't go down. especially the older vehicles, I would certainly not recommend it at this point. And again, at the end of the day, the mill rate changes because of it.
If we don't change it, do you need us to vote on anything,
Or do we just keep
No,
that?
No.
Okay.
At this point, no.
The only vote we would
We said
need
we would
is the
bring it
council
back,
wants
so
to
I,
go the other way.
yeah, you would have to make a motion to do it the other way, and we would have to notify the state in our.
I'm fine taking no action, but let me ask, is there a motion to take action from anybody? Hearing none, I'll ask again, any motion to take action on that? Hearing none, we'll move on to the second item that you have, which is the veteran benefit bill.
Yes, so this one's much more extensive to go through. So, the state last year had created a law that anyone that was 100%, first it was just permanent and total disability, any veteran that was service connected was allowed to have their dwelling exempted. So, there was a lot of problems with that. You could be 70%, 50%, and if you were permanent and total, you would get the benefit. Now you can imagine some people down in the southeast corner, that could be a lot of people that would be getting their taxes reduced. And so that wasn't the intent of the law, but that's when it came out. Some legislators said that's not what we meant. So they went and they amended the law. They made it clear that it had to be 100%, and that you could go back and change the previous grand list. So you had to be 100%, had to be service connected. But there was a lot of problems because you couldn't give it to a spouse. The person that had to be on the property. You could go to the spouse if there was nothing in the vet's name. So if a vet owned a car and was living with their spouse in their home, and that wasn't on there, they couldn't have it on the house, they could have it on the car, which of course you can imagine the assessment difference on the car is a lot less than on the houses. And so then, of course, they fixed a lot of those things last year, but then they still wanted to revise it. So if you have a condo, the dwelling is the dwelling, so you basically would pay no taxes. If you have a house, well, it's the dwelling, so that means now you pay on land. So a vet that has a house had to pay taxes on their land, where the person with the condo was paying nothing. So the legislator came out and they changed all the law, but they said it would be for the 25 grand list, at least we weren't going to go backwards. And if you saw my memo to Tony, it came up with a lot of different options. And so the first one was land. Now the council can give any vet up to 2 acres worth of land. So when I wrote this email, we had 11 people that were qualified. Then I lost 2 people because of the 100%, so then I went down to 9. But then of course, other people started hearing about it. Some people went and got their disability rating changed from 70, 80 to 100, so now they qualify. And so that as of today, I have 13 people for the future grand list. So the same benefit we have today, it will be $58,000 in taxes. So over a $2 million exemption for all these people. So keep that in mind if you want to increase some of so the land would increase. So anyone that has a house that wasn't getting the exemption on their land can have it up to 2 acres if you vote to approve that. That would be approximately $20,000 more that we would lose in our taxes. At the same time, the legislator gave you an option to reduce the benefit. So instead of 100% of the dwelling, they made it a limit that you can make it the median residential assessment. So I did calculate that. That's $224,000. So the benefit could that would be the maximum anyone could get. So if you have, and we do have somebody at the TPC in one of those expensive condos, instead of getting their entire tax bill wiped off, they would only get a $224,000, which is still $6,000. So you can limit that if you want to choose it. And then if you read this email, they also allowed for a few extra groups of people to be put in there. There's the unemployed vets, you don't have to necessarily be 100% disabled, but if you can't work, then you would be still eligible if you vote for that. As of today, we know of 4. There could be more out there, but we know 4 people that have some kind of disability that their veterans paperwork says they're unemployable. We have 52 vets that have some kind of disability rating, so I don't know if they are or are not unemployable, so depends on what happens with that. And then there's a couple of these other ones, like somebody that killed in service, you can give it to the spouse or to the parents. I am not aware of anyone that falls into that category, but again, you can allow them to have this benefit. And then there's one that said if a spouse passed away before this was enacted, so at the moment, the vet had to be alive on October 1st, 2024. If the vet died before then, there's no benefit. Now they're allowing you to say, okay, the person passed away, but they were 100% disabled, the spouse can. So these are the options that I put in there. I don't know if you're wanting to act on any of these. I don't really have any numbers on some of these because people don't come and tell me. I don't know if we have any of these. The big ones are, do you give it to the land, the 2 acres on the land, and do you want to put a limit on it? Those are the 2 big choices.
If I may,
Go ahead.
We shouldn't even be going there on the veterans. If they went out and joined the service or were drafted, most of the veterans now are like Vietnam, drafted, and if they got disability or not, and they fought for the country, this is the last people I would think that we go out and look for more money from. We should leave them alone. They served our country, leave them alone, my opinion.
This is not getting more money, this is
So this,
given.
the proposal is to lower their taxes if they're 100% disabled.
Right.
Yes.
All of these are to reduce their taxes except for one, which is to put a limit
So
on the
there's
taxes.
Which would still reduce it.
Yeah,
It would still
But not by the full amount.
So there's 6 different options that we can add. We can exempt the land in addition to the dwelling. We can extend it if the spouse has passed away prior to the legislation. We can grandfather the surviving spouse in. We can put a limit on the land and the property together. If the land and the property are over a certain amount, they get the exemption up to whatever is the average housing price of the town. If they, number 4 is if they're unemployable with a disability, so they're 100%, if they're not 100% disabled, but because of the nature of their disability, they can't get a new job, they can get an exemption under this. And then if the service person was killed in the line of service or line of duty, their spouse would be able to carry the benefit forward.
Or their parents.
Or their parents. So those are the 5 potential actions we can take. And so what we're looking for tonight is, do we want to take one of those actions, 2 of those actions, 3 of those actions, 4 of those actions, all of those actions, or what combination of them do we want to take, if any, or if we need more time, we can have more time, but I think we want to move on it soon.
So you do, and just so you know, I mean, some of these, people start out with 10% and then over time it increases and increases. I know that one legislator told me they wanted it to be like you were 100% from one incident and that gave you the 100%. There's no way we would ever be able to manage that, so there's no way they can do that. So, and I have seen some people, and I've seen even sleep apnea, being part of the disability that makes somebody 100% now. So, and I know some of these people that are 100% that are working. We did have one person. Now, you can only have it on your primary residence. We did have one person who actually has a piece of property in Cromwell and a piece of property in another town. And we knew that they had property in the other town, so we asked them to verify their residence. And they argued with us, how dare we ask them that question, but we said, you know, you only can have it on one town. And I think they even contacted Tony on this, but we went to find out, and they've actually claimed the exemption in the other town as well.
And had it.
And had it, right, they were getting it in the other town. So after going back and forth, they told me to forget it, and I'm not doing a service to the town. I was just calling to make sure that it was their primary residence, and this person is working. So, I mean, if the intent is for to help these people that are 100% that can't afford it, I get it. But this person actually was working and trying to get it on two houses.
Also,
so you have to be careful. There's always both sides of the.
And so the council knows, it had no effect on what your wealth is.
Right.
You could be a multi-millionaire and you get it. And listen, I'm a veteran, I get it, I'm all for it, let's just say, you can get a disability on sleep apnea. So, I'm not, where are we right this minute with town of Cromwell?
Well, right this minute is the way the legislature passed for last year, which is you have to be 100% service connected, and obviously you were alive on October 1st, 2024.
Would these be ordinance changes?
No, it's actually just as council legislative approval, so you don't need an ordinance. I did review that today.
And that does not include the land?
We would have to make the
Currently,
decision.
it does not.
Right, okay.
You can change it.
Right, no, I know, we've got all these different.
We have a menu.
Yeah.
I didn't come up with these.
No,
I'm just letting you know.
Trying to educate us
Yes.
a little bit about some of this. Yeah, I agree with Al in the sense that, give the veterans a break. It gets a little funky on some of these things. Like I was even thinking, and please don't think this is too weird, about the surviving spouse. And somebody's disabled, somebody dies, they get a different spouse. Now this spouse is, you know what I mean? There's no marriage length or spousal length.
If they remarry, they lose the benefit though, right?
I would think so. I can't say for sure. I would have to.
Yeah, I didn't see it in here.
I didn't see it in here, but I think I remember reading that if the spouse remarries, they lose the benefit.
Yeah, I would think so.
You get some alimony.
But that means they just won't get married.
I think we should just leave it the way it is.
You don't think, so I guess the decision for us to make, and we don't have to make the decision tonight,
Yeah.
we need to see more numbers on it. We have a menu of 5 choices.
Yeah.
Right, let me just reiterate them. We can exempt the land. Right now the land is not exempted. We can add the spouse who passed away before the surviving spouse who passed away before the legislation was enacted. We can put a limit on the exemption, and what the suggestion is, or I guess what we can do, is tie it to medium residential assessment. We can extend it to unemployable vets who are not 100% but are unemployable, which is 52 of them currently in town. And then we can also extend it to service persons killed in the line of duty.
All right, so just so you know, the 52 is how many disabled people we have. I don't know if they're unemployable. I know of 4. I know of 4. There is 4, but I don't know.
And who determines if they're unemployable? The Department of Veterans Affairs?
Yes.
Okay.
And what is unemployable? Like,
It's not my definition.
Word there's
Says. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I may,
This is
Sure.
a little
There is a time limit. What's the time limit before they have to make the?
Yeah.
Well,
Because we need
it.
it.
25 grand list, so it would
If they
be
get
before
killed
the
in
grand list
they
is
get
signed, which is
deceased in the line
January.
of duty, their property tax for their
Can I
surviving
make a
spouse
motion?
Sure.
Yeah.
I move we accept options 1 and 5.
Land and service, killed in the line of duty.
Yes.
Did you not say that there was only 2 people on your list that have more than 2 acres? So it really
Right,
wouldn't
they would
affect-
still get the 2 acres.
No, I understand that, they
Yeah.
would get the 2 acres, but it really only benefits those 2 people because they're not getting taxed on.
No, it would help everybody that is,
Yeah.
that has less than 2
Land.
acres.
Okay.
Yeah, everybody would get the land then.
Yes.
Any second?
Yeah, I'll second that.
Okay.
I normally don't second things, I'm sorry. Does anybody else wanna second them?
I would second, as long as benefiting the
I'll
veterans,
second.
I would second that.
Okay. So there's been a motion and a second. Any further discussion on that? Okay. Hearing none, all those in favor of extending the land exemption and the service person killed in line of service exemption, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries.
Okay.
Thank you, Ms. Shawn, for your work on this.
Tony did a,
No, thank you.
I'm glad you did that.
Appreciate you waiting.
All right.
Thank you, Juliet, for moving it forward.
Uh,
Okay, next we have removal of commission members from inland wetlands watercourses agency pursuant to town charter section 419.
Thank you.
B.
You have Stuart's memo to me.
So we have a memo from Stuart, who is about these two folks who have not shown up to meetings in a very, very long time. I did receive an application, and I didn't put it on the agenda initially because I wanted to see if we wanted to do this. If we do remove these two people, I do have an application from Faye Time, who wanted to be on inland wetlands, but there was not a vacancy for her to be put on. If we wanted to put her on tonight, we could amend the agenda to add her. The background here is pretty straightforward. These two gentlemen have not attended a meeting since October of 2024, one since May of 1st of 2024, and it's preventing them from being able to have a quorum and conduct business because 2 of the 7 members aren't attending meetings. So we can remove them for cause under 419B should we choose to do so.
I make a motion, we remove him and put, Ms. Tyne on.
I'll second.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to,
Take that one motion.
just do the one motion,
Yeah.
and then you gotta amend the agenda.
Amend the agenda, okay.
Make a motion to
So just, can you edit your agenda just for removal? We'll have to add Ms. Tynan after.
I will recommend the removal of the commission people.
Motion made, second by Brian. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstention, motion carries. Can I have, I guess I'll do it under reappointments. We'll amend in a minute. Okay, discussion and revision of proposed public building commission ordinance. So I was coming to you all this evening to get feedback and edits and suggestions on the facilities asset management document that I sent. I know it is late. Would folks rather email me comments and amendments?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
The one question I have is, do we want to pursue this as an ordinance, where we create this commission through ordinance, or do we want to take more time to kind of keep reviewing it?
Keep reviewing.
Well, there's no rush if you're
There's
gonna
no rush.
do an ordinance.
Yeah.
Make a motion, we
Table. Okay. And so, we have a motion to table. Do I have a second on that?
Second.
Second by Jack. Any further discussion? So my only point would be if folks can send me comments about it, like really, I have other versions from other towns here of how other towns do it. I tried to like marry them together for a version for us, but like look at it, workshop it. I want it to be able to be a tool that will be helpful to get us to move forward with the strategic planning that we've really been drilling down on. All those in favor of tabling? We don't need all in favor of tabling, right? We need a motion in a second. We don't need a vote on tabling.
You do need a vote
Okay.
to table.
All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstention, motion carries. Next, we have accept Charter Revision Commission proposed draft report. We have a draft report that has been delivered to us by the town clerk. Can I have a motion to accept?
Motion. Second.
Motion made by Ryan, second by Al. Any further discussion on that? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstention, motion carries. I would like to inform the public that there is going to be a public hearing and a special town council meeting on August 25th, which is a Monday, to review this, have public testimony on it, and then ultimately, if we don't have any changes, we can approve it that night, and it'll go right to the Secretary of State. If we do have changes, it has to go back to Charter Revision for them to adopt those changes.
That's a public meeting.
That's a public meeting. So, Anyone from the public's allowed to come on down and give their opinion. So, okay, next is approval of the minutes from the last meeting, formerly N1, but I know we shuffled the letters around. But do I have a motion to approve the minute meeting? Made by Al, second by Jack. Any further discussion on that? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstention, motion carries. I'd like a motion to amend the agenda to add an item O1, I guess actually C. Well, it's not a reappointment, so it's actually an O3.
Yeah,
Appointment.
three would be appropriate.
So for Faye Tyne, let me just read her application now that we actually have a vacancy, which we didn't have before. Oh, can I have a motion to amend the agenda to add an appointment for Faye Tyne? Made by Al, second by Paula. Any further discussion on that? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstention, motion carries. So that's new item 3, appointments. Item A will be appointment of Faye Tyne. So, can I have a motion for item 1A and 1B to reappoint Claire and Whitney to the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Commission?
Motion approved.
Made by Al, second by Jack. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstention, motion carries. Next, can I have a motion to accept Jennifer Lepore's resignation, item 2A?
Motion approved with regrets.
Agree. Second, Jen is a very dear friend of mine, and not only the DCC chair, but former charter revision chairperson, been on the board of assessment fields, just an all-around wonderful young lady. She's moving out of town. I understand when you're serious with dating with somebody, you move in with them, and that person happens to live in another town and happens to be an elected official in another town, so he won that battle. But it's a loss. It's a loss for the town to lose her. So with regrets, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstention, motion carries. Item 3A, let me just read her application since you guys didn't have the benefit of it. This is Faye Tyne, unaffiliated. She'd like to be an inland wetlands regular member. She's currently vice chair of the Conservation Commission. Strong interest in continuing to serve her community. Andrew Holt, Jamin DeProto, and Katie Tabak are the 3 referrals that were made. So I'll take a motion to appoint her. Folks would like.
Motion approved.
Second. That was a lot. Everyone made that motion. I'm going to give it to Brian. I'm going to give it to Jack.
Okay.
Any further discussion on that? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstention, motion carries. You have in your packet, item P1, the memo from the Cromwell Creative District of the intent to dissolve after they're done with the AARP grants that they're working on right now. Again, I think it's the hope that now that we have a town commission that is in charge of the cultural district, which is all Main Street, that commission can take over coordinating all of the events that the Creative District did and work with the Creative District former members and the Arts Alliance members to get it done. Any other informational items from the councilors? Hearing none, I'll take a motion to adjourn at 9:58.
Motion adjourned.
Motion made. Second by Julia. Any further discussion on that? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. We are adjourned.
Everybody should take some cookies, there's little plates.
I'm taking my cookie home.
Julie, I think we should have.
Hey Mike, how's it going?
Something.
So I got a job for Cassidy.